As people are start to roll in, welcome to another webinar together with Toby from Loop11. My name is Reto Laemmler. I'm co-founder and CEO of TestingTime. And for some of you, it's morning, like here in Zurich, Switzerland. And for others, it's evening, like in Australia, where Toby sits. Welcome, Toby. I'm really happy to have you with me.
Thanks, Reto.
How are you doing?
Very well here. It is the evening here, as you said, but we're all doing well. We're surviving coronavirus okay here in Australia, as I know you guys are in Switzerland. So we're all good.
Good. We it's what time is it now? It's 6 o'clock, right? You're a few hours ahead.
Correct, 6 o'clock in the evening. Yep.
Nice. Here in Zurich, it's 10 a.m. So we just had a little pre-talk, and you mentioned like Australia is doing great in terms of corona, but you are not allowed to travel outside. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. So we're not allowed to travel outside Australia. So all international travel is banned. In Australia, we've got a number of states as well, and we're even not allowed to travel from state to state at the moment. So, you know, we're not on a serious lockdown. We can still go out. We've had restrictions lifted in the last couple of weeks. So, you know, we can still go out to restaurants and things, though there's still distancing limitations and things like that. So, you know, our restrictions are being lifted. Things are getting back together. So it's not too bad here in Australia at the moment.
Yeah. Same here in Europe. Since Monday, we can even now travel again within the Schengen area. And yeah, I'm looking forward to my first trip to Berlin, the end of this month. So great. So I think by now everyone should have joined. I'm excited to get to know you, Toby, your company Loop11. And yeah, the reason why we basically do this a few weeks ago, I think it was during the lockdown, you reached out to me, and I have like this slide here. You showed me, hey, we are releasing a new version of Loop11. This is Loop11. Of course, we will get into the details later. It's a user testing platform. I think your main use case is unmoderated user testing, but we will demo later on. But here is a screenshot of why you reached out to me a few weeks or months ago. It's like, hey, we really would like to partner with different panels. You have like the guys from the US and also us for Europe. That was a great honor to see. And then I said, hey, let's get into a webinar and talk a bit more about it. And so, is it correct you released a new version of Loop11 2 weeks ago?
That's correct. So yeah, we've been in development of a new Loop11 for quite some time now, for many months. We've really rebuilt the product almost from the ground up, and we had that in some beta testing for a couple of weeks. And yeah, last week, I think it was last week, if not the week before, we've released the new Loop11. So that's what you're seeing now and what we're going to demo and talk about today.
Great. So one thing which always like amazed me is like different countries have a different level of UX maturity, and since many years I heard and learned that Australia has a very high maturity up to the government. And why is that? Where does that come from? Why are you guys so advanced?
Look, that's a really good question. To be honest, I don't know the answer to that. But you know, one thing I do know is that Australia is really heavily influenced by things that happen in the United States as well as the UK, and things that happen there, you know, tend to flow on and have a flow-on effect in Australia, you know, sometime later. So, you know, there was a big UX movement starting in the US a long time ago, and it moved on to Australia in due course. And so, you know, I guess we're, you know, with the US and the UK and some other countries, one of the leaders of UX. We've got good UX maturity here, and governments also. I think we've got a pretty forward-thinking government, and a lot of them do their UX testing and pretty good at doing usability research as well. So yeah, that's my best guess. I don't know
okay.
the answer to that, but that's my best guess.
Well, that's why it's also no surprise a lot of great tool or several. I don't know every tool, but like we all know Optimal Workshop. They're from New Zealand, but it's sort of similar region. But you guys, Loop11, it's no surprise, good tools come out of Australia. Tell me a bit about Loop11, your company, how it started and how big you are and which customers you serve.
Yeah. Okay. So Loop11's been around for 10 years. You know, we're a bit of the old guard when it comes to UX. We've been around for quite some time. But Loop11 was always a bit of a side business of mine. So I had a user experience consultancy that I started about 20 years ago. And out of a need of our own, we developed Loop11 because we wanted to do quantitative usability testing. So traditional usability testing is typically done with small sample sizes. You know, you're talking 6 to 12 participants, something like that. But what we wanted to do was testing with much larger sample sizes, so you can start generating statistics and metrics about the website that you're testing. So we wanted to offer that as a service in our consultancy, and that's why we built Loop11. So for a long, long time, Loop11 was a side business of mine. And when I sold my consultancy a couple of years ago, we started looking at Loop11 and rebuilding it from the ground up. And we spent the last, numerous months doing that. We're a small team here. We're all based in Melbourne, Australia. We're a small team of, marketing people and developers and a bookkeeper. But now that we've got the new Loop11, we're going to start really treating it like a SaaS business and think about growth hacking and growing the business like a proper SaaS business should. We never really treated it like a SaaS business back when it was a side business of my consultancy, but now's the time. Yeah.
Okay. And your most important market is the US or Australia? Or any other one?
Yeah, definitely not Australia. Only a very small percentage of our customers are based in Australia. The US is probably our biggest market, and then the UK and mainland Europe. They're the biggest markets for Loop11.
It's always very interesting because the other day I talked to an Austrian company, Userbrain, and they are from Austria, do also user testing platform, and also their core market is the US and not Austria. And for you, in a way, the same. For us, TestingTime, we started in Zurich, Switzerland, and for us, it's still the most important market, although we expanded into Germany, which was a very organic expansion, but in the UK, France, Netherlands are very different, but still within like the Europe zone. And I'm always amazed how a tool like Loop11 or this Userbrain tool picks up in a completely different market than your own. So why is that actually? Is this like how you placed it, or it just like there was more demand coming from there?
I think it's a combination of two things. So, when we started Loop11, it was always our intention to market the product on a global scale. At the time, 10 years ago, the biggest market for anything UX was the United States. So, we focused a lot of our marketing dollars in the US. And so, it's a combination of the two. We marketed to the US, but there's a bigger demand for UX research in the US than a lot of other countries. And that's, the gap I think is closing between the US and the UK and a lot of other countries nowadays. But certainly back 10 years ago, that's where the market was for us. Yeah.
And now partnering up with us also means you believe in the European market, not just the UK, I assume. Do you see like an uptrend there coming in on your side?
Not specifically at the moment, but there's certainly growth in a lot of mainland European countries. I do talk about the US and the UK being our bigger market, but we've got a lot of customers in mainland Europe as well, and it's definitely growing. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So we're gonna go ahead now and dive a little bit into Loop11. We have like 20 more minutes. We also would like to ask the audience to place questions into, I think there's a Q&A panel. You can just write them in there and you can upvote them and we will answer them in the last 10, 15 minutes. So we can also pull you guys in. And we also have something, so if you stay, and we have a little goodie for you, a little giveaway. So I ask everyone to stay in here and to take advantage of that. It's just for you, a special offer from the two of us. So now I would like to go on and hop into Loop11, and I hope everyone still sees the screen. The sharing is working. Do you see it, Toby, on your side? All good?
I sure do. Yep.
Cool. So I already logged in here into Loop11, and what I want to show or walk through with you is a little setup, because we believe it's very important that kind of people see how a tool can be used and what it's for. So basically, I logged in and I see a dashboard, and now I would like to walk with you through a setup of an unmoderated study. So I start to create a new project. I could create a new one. I will do that, or I could clone an existing one. So the first thing here is, I think this is brand new, right? The moderated thing that came along with your release 2 weeks ago. Is that correct?
No, moderated testing has probably been there for about 12 months, so it's not new.
Okay.
Yeah, but definitely the unmoderated is really, I guess, Loop11's bread and butter. But the moderated's been there for around about 12 months, and that gives you the ability to pretty much record video and audio of participants,
Yeah.
but have interactions with the participants in real time.
Yeah.
Whereas anything unmoderated, you're not interacting with the participants in real time.
Yeah. And here I saw, like, during Corona, probably all of the user testing platforms we know, they either had it like you, or they introduced the moderated remote version. Did you also see a big spike in usage of the moderated, or for you it was like customers still use you for the unmoderated part primarily?
Yeah, no, there was definitely a big spike. We had a lot more demand for our moderated testing during the beginning of coronavirus, and it's still there now. We still have a lot more people, I guess, have been convinced of the benefits of doing moderated testing.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we saw a big spike. Yeah.
Okay. For us, it was also very interesting. About a bit more than half was like in-house, in-person and studies. So face-to-face moderated, and then Corona came, that all stopped and transitioned to remote. Now we are back to the regular order volume as before, but it's like 95% remote moderated. And but we also believe the in-person study comes back in a safe environment, of course. But it's just interesting how the study methods kind of shifted to in relation to a pandemic. But let's go on. So I will do a little. It's like the banana test. You choose like language, like you can have. That's also something interesting. You can choose whether the whole experience should be recorded or not. You told me this is because sometimes you just want to get a quantitative study like survey style, and you just want to have the data and not watch videos. So that also tells me this is a true quantitative research solution you offer. It's not like other players, mostly about collecting videos of the experience, correct?
Yeah, that's exactly right. There's a lot of tools out there that will just record the video and the audio. And Loop11 can do that. But the real benefit that you can get from running a Loop11 test is our quantitative stats. So all the stats and metrics, and I know we'll have a look at them a little bit later, things like task completion rates and heat maps and clickstream analysis, they're all things that you get when you run a project with Loop11. So you're getting the qualitative side of things with the video and the audio, and you get the quantitative side of things with our stats and metrics.
Okay, that's good. So I just leave this for now. I could choose this. It's required for all participants, so if I want to really record it or not, but I can just leave it to move ahead. Now we have like these different things. It's tasks and questions. You can instruct people to do something, and then you can ask like, how was it, and this kind of things. So I just do something like buy a banana, and I don't know, this is just like the instruction, shop for a banana, and put it into the basket. And now I have like some URLs here where I can basically measure I start URL and when it's like a success, and I'm using my good old Le Shop supermarket here. This is like a online shop for groceries in Switzerland. So this will basically be the start URL, and a success URL would be something like, I just walk you through if they would achieve the goal, like fruits. Let's say this would be a scenario. And so if they, let's say if they arrive here, they succeeded, and I could use this URL. Am I doing it right so far?
Yes. Yes, correct. Yeah. Look, it's not mandatory to put in a success URL, but if you do, that's where Loop11 can really provide some valuable metrics around task completion rates and other things. So, yeah. So yes, you got it right, Reto. Keep going.
Okay. I mean, that also shows how much your tool is into measuring the user experience. And actually we have a great white paper on our blog about measuring the user experience. And that's something also which comes with the UX maturity of a company. It's not just like figuring out usability problems, it's actually measuring the performance of it. And this is what I kind of learned, that your platform is really a good fit for that. Page count, can you just leave it at, what is this?
The page count, the idea with page count is that you put the ideal number of steps or pages that it would take to get from your start URL to the success URL. And if you put that in there, Loop11 can calculate a metric that we call lostness, which gives you a bit of an indication as to how lost your participants are on your website. If you leave it blank, then Loop11 will just calculate it automatically based on the average number of pages to get through a task.
Mm-hmm. Can I also a bit challenge you here? When I tried your tool, I also realized it requires quite a good understanding. This is not an amateur tool. You get a video and you watch and it's like, oh, look, the person gets it or doesn't get it. This is like a pro tool. Do you have like onboarding webinars? How do you get people up to speed to use this as a professional tool?
Yeah, just on the left-hand side there, you'll see there's a link that says take a tour.
Okay.
So you might have gone through that or skipped it when you first signed up to Loop11, but anyone that first signs up to Loop11, they get taken on a tour, and it explains all the steps, all the steps in these 5 key stages of setting up a Loop11 project. And yeah, there are some videos. So we have some onboarding emails that we send out to new subscribers. So there are some videos that people can watch to help really understand the best way to set up a Loop11 test. So that's all there and provided when you become a customer of Loop11.
Okay, cool. So I'm going ahead. My monitor setup makes me like move a little bit. So, I think then we could add a question as an example, like a rating scale. How easy was it? This is the idea of this, like how easy was that? So it's sort of combining tasks with surveys, and I'm just going to go here. Super easy. Okay, hard. This is just an example. Don't. This is sort of the idea, to combine tasks you do on a real website, and then you can have some follow-up questions, which you then can now analyze in a very nice way in your reporting dashboard, which we'll show later. So let's go on. I click on done here, and there are some project settings. This is basically like a thank you message.
Correct.
And required number of participants, of course, for a quant study. This is not like the 5 to 7 people, as Jacob Nielsen said. This is like, what is sort of your recommendation for what is the average?
Yeah, look, it depends the kind of insights you're looking for, but, we see people that are doing these types of quant tests with anywhere between 30 and 50 participants, all the way up to the hundreds. And sometimes people are running benchmarking studies where, they might need thousands of participants. So it just depends the type of study that you're doing. I would say if you want to get some good, robust statistics out of Loop11, you probably want to be doing testing with a minimum of 50 participants, or anywhere between 50 and 100 is a good quantitative number to start getting some reliable statistics out of Loop11.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, and there's also a completion URL this is not the redirect URL, right? If someone, because you have a completion URL in the task itself, and what is this one here for?
Yeah, this one is when the participant completes the test, you can redirect them to a page of your choice. So it might be the TestingTime website, it might be the Le Shop website. If you put nothing in there, they just go to a Loop11 default page, but you can change that by putting any URL in.
Okay, I think this is also the one we need to use when we connect it with TestingTime, the redirect URL, which I will show in a minute. But let me go to participants. So it's basically, now we're coming to this part. I know you are also having for certain markets your own panel to have a kind of a coherent experience, but because we all know building a pool panel is super hard. This is our daily bread and butter. For you, your daily bread and butter is building an awesome tool. So that's why you partner up with us and others. And so this part here is basically just to tell people, hey, yes, work with those partners. How this is going to work here? Do we need to launch a project now to set up the thing here, the redirect?
If you just go to the launch page where you were before.
Yep. Just one second. Click it done again.
And you can just copy the start URL.
Okay.
And that's the URL that you need to put into TestingTime.
Okay, good. So now I'm heading over to TestingTime. I truly hope today we will release the new unmoderated pricing, because you're gonna drop this quite heavily. The release is coming right afterwards. It should come within the day. So disregard the prices for now, because we kind of had it in line with moderated remote, and unmoderated was never that big, but now it's increasing heavily, and we did some market research ourselves and now dropped it quite heavily, so people can really do quantitative studies using our panel with an attractive pricing. Anyway, so here you will basically now set up the recruitment part of your Loop11 project, Loop11 banana test. We go here for the 100, because that's what you are having set up in the other project. Here we go unmoderated. As you see, we have remotes at your location, at the test user's home. Those two options are picking up again, but this is not relevant for working together with Loop11. Those who know us, it's a lot about screening parameters. You can like kind of define what is your target group, and the more criteria you select, the harder it is for us to find it. But I'm just gonna go ahead here with like the default settings. You can tell where we have to source the candidates from, which country. I have it here now to Switzerland, because Le Shop is a Swiss site. Device skills, you can also choose like which device they have to be familiar with to have a meaningful test. And I think here it's also like, for example, if I want to test new user has never used Le Shop before, so we would make sure we would screen candidates which never used Le Shop, so you can really test the first time experience, for example, how good is the website for new users. Or you could, I don't know, you can put in here anything and we will screen for it. You can exclude experts, like I don't want to have any market researchers and UX experts in the thing, any additional information. But now the interesting part comes here. I think I still copy pasted this from here, put it in here. So this is now basically the link we send matching candidates to. So as soon as we screen candidates, according to whatever I showed you before, we will send them to this URL. And what you have to do here is also the duration. That will also change with the pricing. So again, disregard the pricing here, and also duration. We will now have like as short as 5 to 10 minutes. That's like because a lot of these quant studies are very short and they're not 30 minutes. So that will change with the upcoming release today. I still select this 30-minute thing, the delivery time, that's also, you can have it fast or slow delivered. Anyway, but what's important, we have to copy this link here and put it now back into the project settings here. So basically, why do we need that? This is a way we know and we can track a successful participation. So someone who we screened, we send them to you, to Loop11, they do the task and questions, and once they're done, they come back to us and we kind of register their participation. And basically, that's it. So what you get is, I mean, on your side, you get the results, but if I abort here quickly, on the testing time side, you get this thing called lineup. You will get the whole list of participants. So that's a nice thing about working with us. We actually show you the identity, or the identity like the person which participated on your side. You can make sure this is actually real and no fake test users or whatever. And if you feel like someone didn't participate properly, you can like have them replaced and everything. So that's part of our service. But what really is super important to us, we are not like this cheap quant market research panel. We really take care of super proper screening and high quality test users. And this is really important to us because we believe that makes a big difference in your research. So
yeah, and I'll add to that too, Reto. I think that makes a huge difference. You know, we've had integrations with different quantitative market research panels for years, and unfortunately, those panelists are much more used to completing surveys and answering questions, but they're not so good at doing usability tests. And in particular, if you want your participants to think aloud and verbalize their thoughts, those kind of panels are never as good as the kind of thing that we know you guys have built here at TestingTime. So, you know, that's part of the reason why I reached out to you to have, you know, another great panel, in particular a European panel, that our customers can use to recruit their participants, and they're good quality participants.
That's really great to hear, and that's also something we start to realize, that with this whole remote, unmoderated, moderated increase, how important a good panel now becomes because you don't have people so often anymore in your lab where you can like fix things. They need to be good and think out loud. They should be able to set up the technical things easily, but not being the pro users either. So this is really an important thing now to do good research. And now basically this is it. You would launch now the project, and the thing would start. Of course, we would receive the order on our side, and we would start to deliver the participants to you. And this is basically how you bring together the best of both worlds, I would say, Loop11 and TestingTime. So what do I get now as a result? Of course, that would take a bit longer than just 1 minute to collect results. So I go back to your sample project, because here you can kind of walk me through what like the reports would look like. I mean, once you get results in, and you can actually now see how things perform or not. So do you want to walk me through here quickly?
Yeah, sure. I'll just start by saying that the sample project that we're going to talk about now, it lives in everybody's account. So although we'll talk about it today, if anyone does create a Loop11 account, this project will be in there. You'll always be able to come back to it and take a look. Mm-hmm. So first of all, you know, when you view a report, you land on the dashboard, and this gives you some, you know, key high-level metrics such as the success rate. So we can see if 47% of participants completed all the tasks in this project successfully. 43 failed, 9 abandoned, and there's some other metrics there on the top. Each of those rectangles there is a task. So task 1 is clients have worked with. So if you just want to click on one of those tasks, we can drill down and have a look at some more detailed information. So this is information specific to this task. We show you things like the number of page views that it took to complete the task, the time in seconds that it took to complete the task. We then have the most common success path and the most common fail path. And just below that, we can see, you know, in this particular case, we recorded video and audio. So we can see down the bottom there that we've got participants 4, 7, and 9, and we can play the video of these particular participants as well.
for this sample thing, so this is how you configured at the beginning when you set up the project, record the session, right? That would be, this is what we will get if you set it up that way. So you can even go in and see the entire experience. That's really cool.
That's correct. And then again, up the top, if you go into the videos section, so again, in this case, we recorded video. You can play all the videos here. So maybe just click the triangle, the play button on one of these, and we can just kind of show people what a video looks like.
Mm-hmm.
So it's literally just a playback of,
Mm-hmm.
Have you got a triangle up the top left there? I can't see that.
It says it's still loading the video.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I saw it yesterday. So it would just basically replay the whole session. You see the user recorded the face, the voice, and everything. But did you see me? I'll just click on another one. Maybe. Yeah, that's the demo effect, but I know it works. But that's basically, you could even go and kind of verify on a quantitative level, is the result making sense, by going through the single videos and double check and find the hot scenes where you see failure or success.
Yeah, and if you just click the X there where your mouse is at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, up the top there, we've got questions. So if you asked participants questions along the way, we give you the basic percentage breakdowns of questions, as you can see. In the participants section, we show you all the details of all of the participants one at a time. So maybe just click on participant 2 there. And you can see things like their IP address. If they're recorded in the EU, we automatically do not record the IP address. Operating system, browser, device category, and then down below, all of the tasks that they attempted to perform and all of the questions that they answered. So if you want to have a look at each individual participant one at a time, you can do that there.
And you could even go as far and as kind of match it with the lineup we got. What we registered, does it kind of match up with what we delivered into your platform? So that's also a good thing. It's not a blind shot.
Yeah. And then finally, we've got clickstream and Heatmaps. So this is the other kind of quant element of Loop11. So this is our clickstream that shows you for any given task, the path that people follow through the website in order to complete the task. And then the Heatmaps, as they're loading, you can see exactly where on the page participants are clicking.
Yeah. So, and again here, this is like not a beginner's tool. It's very powerful, and again, also here, I can just encourage customers to try it out. And that's why you also have like this 30 days trial and run a small project with it. It's like, where would you say when someone asks you, like, how do you compare to others? It's UserZoom, usertesting.com, and all the other players. What is your USP? How would you position yourself here?
Yeah, sure. I think the big difference between Loop11 and a lot of the other usability testing tools out there is that we do provide the qualitative as well as the quantitative. Most of the other tools out there are purely qual. You get video and audio recordings, and that's the case of user testing, for example. They're purely a qual tool. They sell their business as offering quant stuff as well, but in a very different way to Loop11. And you know, the benefit of running a Loop11 test where you get the qual and the quant is that with the qualitative, you can understand the why. So why are people doing what they're doing? You get the videos, you get the audio, you can get a deeper understanding in some cases as to what's happening with your website. And when you match that up with the quant, you can start to understand the how. So how is this happening? The stats and the metrics behind it. And so those statistics give you, in a lot of cases, a better ability to make decisions about what to do with the design of your website. If you've got X% of doing this or not doing that, you can just make better decisions around redesigning your website if you've got some statistics behind you. So, you know, that's one of the big differences between Loop11 and a lot of the others, is that we have both the qual as well as the quant.
Very nice. So we slowly have to wrap up and dive into the questions from the audience. I found it really interesting, and I think also by the way, price-wise, it's an attractive offer you have. It's a powerful tool for very affordable pricing. And with our offer later on, it's going to be even more attractive. But now I'm opening the question and answers. So Rene asks, can we define the value of a rating question? Let's say we want our raw data to say -2 instead of strongly disagree. Can we opt to define only endpoints of a scale? It's like when you have just endpoints and in between you have just the stages. I guess that's what the question is about.
Yeah, so Rene, absolutely you can do that. So those entry fields that you saw Reto putting in super easy and easy, you can put whatever you want in those fields. It doesn't have to be words, it can be numbers if you want it to be. So yeah, no problem, you can certainly do that.
You can leave the in-betweens blank. I think that's what he wants to go after, and just having the endpoints.
Yes, okay, yes, of course, you can do that as well. So if you have, for example, a 5-point scale, you can have the top end and the bottom end and leave the middle ones blank. So yeah, no problem, you can do that too.
Okay. We have someone anonymous. Could you please demonstrate the participants' view during an unmoderated UX test with Loop11 and also the test moderator's view of Loop11 during a moderated UX test? So this is going to be into the pro demo. Maybe can you, because we would have to set up something moderated.
Yeah, the moderated one, that'll be hard for us to do today, but we can certainly show you what it looks like from a participant's perspective doing an unmoderated test. So Reto, as you're sharing the screen, what you can do, maybe go back to your project that you launched before.
Yep.
And just go see where it says on the very right-hand side, the 3 dots.
Yep.
Click that, get project URLs.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. And copy the URL and pop it in a browser or one of your new tabs. Okay, so this is what you would see from the participant's perspective. That page can be completely customized, so you can say whatever you want to say there. And if you hit next, you'll be asked in this case to share your screen because we want to do screen recording. And I think all the other options we didn't choose, but if you had audio and if you had webcam, you would also be asked to give permissions for those things as well.
So I hope it doesn't screw up now with my Zoom session, but let's see.
Oh yeah, you know what? It probably is because it's.
And it wants. So I will just leave this open. I don't know which. Okay, yeah. So
we might have problems here with Loop11 and Zoom at the same time.
And then it says begin.
Yeah, and what you should then see is the website that you put in as the start URL. So the Le Shop website. And then in a minute, you'll see the little Loop11. So this is the task that we set. And if you go start task, it'll disappear down into the left-hand side in a moment. And then the participant could get on with trying to complete the task that was set for them.
Yeah, and then we will kind of start doing shop for a banana. And I think that the task instruction would have been shop for a banana now, but that's how it is. And then you would kind of, it would probably also, I don't even know whether, so now when I reach the goal, how do I now say I achieved the goal?
You go down the bottom right-hand corner where it says, bottom left-hand corner where it says show. Click show, and then you can say task complete. And so that's for you to say that I've done the task, and you'll move on to the next item. That's it, and then next. And so our project only had 2 tasks, and now we're done.
Okay. And then here
you like from the participant's perspective.
Yeah. Okay, that was actually, and this is the redirect link, which would then work if it was set up properly. That's why we chose this thing, because we haven't really set up the project on our side. But that seemed to be very easy. And I guess for the moderated, you will go into sort of a video chat, or how does that work?
Yeah, correct. You go into a video chat, not unlike the way we're doing something with Zoom at the moment, where the moderator will be able to see the screen of the participant. You also have the ability to have observers come in. So if you have clients or colleagues that want to watch the sessions, they can be observers, but they can't actually interact with the participants. They can talk to the moderator. So if they've got some intelligent questions that they want the moderator to ask the participant, the moderator and the observers can communicate, but the observers can't interact with the participants.
As a test user provider, we kind of see oftentimes technical issues with these different tool providers. I mean, of course, you will say now everything's great with us, but do you have like a support person we can contact, or how does it work?
Yeah, we have a help desk. So if we're not there 24 hours a day, but we have a help desk that you can email issues or questions to, which is just support@loop11.com. And we've got people there that can help you out and point you in the right direction. So, we always recommend that you pilot test your projects before you go live. And, it's during that period of time where if you've got questions for our support team, you can ask them and we'll get back to you and point you in the right direction.
You're actually making a really good point. Don't just shoot for the 100, 200 samples. First do it with 1-2 colleagues, and then you see everything is properly, and then you go big. We have 5 more minutes, a few more questions. What's the new price for doing unmoderated tests? I don't think you have a new price, or do you? When you launched 2 weeks ago?
No, not for us, but I thought that question might have been for you because you were talking about moderated stuff. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, now I'm getting it. Okay, that's funny. Yes, the new price, Florian, I will send it to you personally right after the webinar. I think it's very, very attractive, and it's going more towards the pricing we have for our online surveys. And I think it's just in line with everything else. But good question, and I'm happy to share it with you once it's released. Maybe it's already released. Engineers are working hard today. So next question, can we randomize task order?
Not at the moment. This is probably the #1 feature request that we have with Loop11, task randomization. So it's something that's coming. It's actually really complicated to do. So we're working on this and we really hope to have it available in the next couple of months.
Okay, good. Renee is back. I'll need to ask a question again. I need the exported raw data to say -2 and the front end the user sees to say strongly disagree. This is possibly most trivial. Is it here as well? I think it's like a value map to a rating statement.
Yeah, no, you can certainly export all of your data out of Loop11 and into CSV or Excel. Loop11 though will still have the variables that you enter in. So if you enter in strongly agree, it'll say strongly agree. You can always change it. If you need yours to have a value instead of the words, then you can change it, but it doesn't do it automatically for you.
Or just use the value, or there's a great Excel function, search and replace. So
correct. Yep.
You do it that way. So let's give Andreas the word. Does the new Loop11 require any special software on the user or moderator side? Used to be Chrome extension.
Yeah, very good question. So it's something that we didn't see happen here because Reto has already got it installed. But yeah, for all participants as well as the moderator, there is a browser extension that needs to be added as part of the process. So we didn't see that step in the process because Reto already has it. But when you click that start URL, you'll be guided through the process of adding the browser extension. So that's necessary for a Loop11 test, yes.
Mm-hmm. And it is as easy as you just saw before. Actually, that was the first time I did a enter a test, and it was super smooth. And this also with the whole extension setup. Last question: supported languages. That's actually a good one because Americans and Australians, they sometimes think the world speaks only English. Europeans don't think that way. So where are you in terms of languages?
Well, we have about 40 different languages that you can choose from. And if you want to go back to Loop11, I can show you where that is. And when we launched Loop11 long ago, we had all these 40 languages right from the start. So if you go to maybe your test and go view report.
But I think he also means like, here's the banana test.
Just go view report.
Yeah.
And then up the top right, go view design. And if you click the drop down under language, these are all languages that we offer. There's more than 40 different languages and lots of European languages as well.
And the interface also changes to that language, or is it?
Yeah, all of the hard-coded elements of Loop11 will change. So the show button and all of those things will change. You still have to do the translations of the tasks and the questions.
Okay.
But anything hard-coded in Loop11 will change to the language of your choice.
Yeah. And we also are heavily into supporting different languages. So TestingTime, you could even recruit participants which speak 2 languages. So maybe your prototype or your test object is in English, but you actually want to get the answers in German and this kind of thing. So that's also something we support very well. So good match also here. Yep. So I think we are about to end, and now drum roll, our little offer for you. You get 25% on the bundle until the end of July 2020. With Loop11, you can use the TestingTime 25. That's a coupon code. You can buy your plan. I mean, you could even now go in and do a 30 days trial, free trial, and then decide to buy it, and you get 25% off. And also every order you do in conjunction together with Loop11, so a Loop11 study gets also 25% off. Unfortunately, we don't have this coupon system, but you just order or save a quote on our side and we will add it to your order, and you don't have to pay this also. So really a good offer, I think, and we just want to have you use the solution Loop11 together with TestingTime and research the heck out of it. It's a good time now to pick up your research, study your website, app, and make sure your products and services are ready for a bright future after the pandemic. So is there anything else you want to add, Toby, from your side?
No, I don't think so. I think I covered everything, and I think that's a pretty good demo that you did of Loop11. So thank you very much for taking us all through that, Reto.
Thank you too. We also have this is maybe now not the right pick. It's for moderated user tests, but we have a lot of great content on our website about how to do different studies. I mentioned the measure user experience that will be very much in line of what we talked to. We have a user testing kit on how you prepare. So just go on our website at TestingTime and go through it and pick up topics you're interested in. And we're also very open to have guest writers on our site. So if anyone in the audience or even you, Toby, wants to write an article about something you really care about, like unmoderated research, get back to us and we will happy to include you in our blog. That's it. Thank you very much. I really enjoyed chatting with you, and it was really great to demo your product, and I'm really happy to have you in our family of partnerships on our side. And I wish you all the best, Toby, and on your side, a good night. And
thanks, Reto. Appreciate you getting me on here on the webinar with you and the colleagues. So much appreciated, and all the best. We'll talk again soon.
Yes, talk to you soon. Bye, Toby. All the best.
Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.